તમે કહો છો એટલે કરું છું પણ મને એવું લાગતું નથી. એટલે પહેલા શ્રુતિ અને એ દ્વારા એના આધારે યુક્તિ જાય.
I think it might be worth just starting that and
yeah, let's start now. Jai Jinendra, everyone. Welcome to our regular weekly SCVP adult class. Hope you're all well. And let's start with the Navkar mantra today. If we can all make sure that we're all on mute, thank you. Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Vajayanam, Namo Loye Savasahunam. Eso panch namokaro Savapavapanasanu Mangalananchar Savesim Padamam Havai Mangalam Padamam Havai Mangalam. So welcome to everyone today. Today we are joined by Vinod Pai, who will be taking the adult class, and he's going to be presenting the Ajit Shanti, which is based on two of our Tirthankars, Ajit Nath and Shanti Nath Bhagwan. Before I hand over to him, I would just like to go over a few announcements. The first one is an announcement on Acharya Shri's 85th birthday, which is next week. We'll be celebrating at the beginning of the adult class. We'll be sharing a few slideshows and just celebrating her 85th birthday. There is a event happening on the 26th of January, and it's from 5 till 7 p.m. IST. The Zoom details are being shown on the screen for everyone to join. And yeah, I guess celebrate the life of Taimas as a seva yagya. So please do join if you can. Second announcement is that we'll be having an online memorial service for our beloved Nilesh Pai Doshi. He was one of the trustees of SCVP Viraitan UK, and he'll be dearly missed. So if anyone would like to join the celebration of his life, then this is happening on Sunday, 31st of January, and the timings it's at 2 p.m. UK time. And if you can visit the website address that's given, www.nileshdoshi.com, for further details. We also have another event happening from One Jains, and this is sort of to give out more information on COVID-19 and the vaccinations, question answers, and the whole program will be taking place in Gujarati. So if there's any questions, that you are seeking for answers, then please do join in on Sunday, 24th of January at 8 p.m. So that's happening this weekend. And I'm sure you'll find it very useful to talk to some of the experts who are leading the program. So that's Dr. Khyati Bakai, Ms. Jyoti Shah, and Dr. Anuja Shah. So one more notices and information to give out is One Jains is also, it's the Institute of Jainology is carrying out a competition for children where any children who would like to participate can create a card or any type of artifact for the forthcoming consensus relating to Jains. And I'm sure some of you may have seen messages being forwarded on WhatsApp or on Facebook or a lot of social media on this consensus that's taking place in March this year. And it is very, very important for us because, us as a Jain community needs to be recognized. So it's very important to create awareness by selecting other in the consensus, and we have to choose Jain. So please do try and involve the children so there's 2 different categories for the entry. You've got the first category is for children up to 10 years old, and those who are between 10 and 15 is the second category. And they have to submit their card or the artifact by Monday, 22nd of February. You can email in the photos at the email address provided. And the winners will be declared on 28th of February. So do encourage all children to participate. The more, the better awareness will be raised, and hopefully they'll have a lot of fun participating in this. So now, I guess, let's move on to our class for today. I'd like to introduce you to Vinod Bhai. I'm sure everyone here knows him. He has a very unique teaching style, one that can translate some of the most difficult concepts of Jainism in a very simplistic way. And I think once you start listening to him, you're not going to want to leave halfway. You'll want to stay till the end and listen to every single word of his wisdom on Jainism. So I'll hand over to Vinod Bhai. Vinod Bhai?
Thank you, Kajal. Thank you for your kind words. What shall I say? Welcome you all. And of course, Jai Jinendra, Namaskar, Pranam. Our subject is very interesting one. Ajit Santi Stava. So let us learn about Ajit Santi, what it is, what's the meaning of few of the verses. And there are quite a few things you will learn, and you will be amazed to see that Ajit Santi consists of so many things. You will learn about the social life, cultural life, and lots of other things, people's habits, their lifestyle and everything. Everything has been given in Ajit Santi. So this is a unique prayer. So let me share the screen and we'll see what it is. Okay, you can see, yeah? Everything is good. As I said, the name is Ajita Santi Stava, the Stavan or a poem praising two Tirthankaras, Ajitnath and Santinath. Right. This is one of the 9 smaranas, 9 sacred recitations. These recitations, as the word says, they are sacred, smarana, something we must remember, something we must do every day. So these are called smaranas. And there are altogether 9 smaranas, no smaran, 9 sacred recitations. These are Naukar Mantra, of course, Uvasagaram Stotra, Santikaram, Tijay Pahutta, Namiun Stotra, Ajita Santi Stava, which we are going to take now, Ajit Santi, Bhaktamar Stotra, Kalyan Mandir, and Brihat Santi. Some of these smaranas are very popular, you know, a lot of things about them. Naukar Mantra, we all know, we all recite, we all remember it, you know, and this is the first and foremost smarana in a Jain religion. Vasagaram is again very popular. A lot of people can recite it, they remember it. Santikaram, Tijay Pahut, and Namyuna are perhaps not that popular, but they are also Prabhavshari, you know, it's called prowess in it. Santikaram is very good, Tijay Pahut, and Namyur Stotra. Now, what we are going to do now is Ajit Santi Stava. Ajit Santi Stava. Smaran praising Ajitnath and Santinath. And 7th is Bhaktamar Stotra. Again, very popular. We are very familiar with it, you know. Lots of books, CDs, and lot of material on YouTube is available on about Bhaktamar Stotra. Kalyan Mandir, not that popular again, but it's a beautiful, beautiful stavan, beautiful poem in praise of Lord Parshvanath, Kalyan Mandir. And I hope one day we'll be able to do it here in our adult classes. Brihat Santi or Moti Santi, we have dealt with it before. And this is being sung in pujas, pujanas, and lot of other rituals like Graha Santi. When you buy a new house, when you buy a new property, people usually recite Brihat Santi. So these are the 9 sacred recitations. As I said, Ajit Santi is in praise of 2 Tirthankaras, Ajitnath Bhagwan and Santinath Bhagwan. Now, this one is a beautiful, a huge temple constructed in late 11th, early 12th century by King Kumarpal. And you can see the size of it. It's written over there how big it is. The length is 230 feet, breadth 230 feet, 15-meter long, 100-foot broad, 142 feet in height, and it has a perimeter of 639 feet. So it's a huge temple. And imagine people building this temple in 11th century without the help of crane, no concrete, no cement, no steel, nothing, just stones and beautiful carving again. So the temple is worth saying. It's in the middle of many hills in a village called Taranga. And the Moornayaka, the main deity idol, is that of Ajitnath Bhagwan, our second Tirthankar. And this one is the photograph, I believe, is the right one. Yes, Ajitnath Bhagwan. And who was Ajitnath Bhagwan? As I said, he was second Tirthankar in the line of 24. His father's name was King Jitasatru, and mother's name was Queen Vijaya. He was born in Ayodhya, and he attained Nirvana on the hills of Samet Sikhar. And his lanchan symbol is elephant. His color was golden. Now, let us learn something about Santinath Bhagwan, our 16th Tirthankara. His father was King Vishwasen, mother was Achira. He was born in Hastinapur, which is not too far from the capital Delhi. His lanchan was Mrug, deer, Haran, and he also attained Nirvana at Samet Sikhar, and his color was also the golden complexion, golden color. Santinath Bhagwan had hundreds of temples in India. Here, you know where his temple is, where he is a Mul Nayak. You all know, I believe, isn't it? Leicester. In Jain Center Temple, Leicester, Santinath Bhagwan is a Mul Nayak. The main idol is that of Santinath Bhagwan. Today, there is an important event. Today, Santinath Bhagwan attained Keval Gnan today. So it's a Keval Gnan Kalyanak today. And one incident which happened in his past life, which is very famous, he was born as King Megharath. And once he saved a pigeon. You probably know this story. A pigeon, very much terrified, running away, flying away from a hunter. And that hunter was another bird, actually, Baj. And came in the lap of Megharath Raja, King Megharath, and said, "Save me, save me, save me." And what did King Megharath do? He offered his own flesh to that bird who was hunting, who came after the pigeon, Baj Pakshi. But what happened? The Baj Pakshi, that bird, was really a devta, a dev, who wanted to test Megharath Raja. And as soon as Megharath Raja put some flesh in the pan, the balance was again, the pigeon was heavier than the flesh. So he put more flesh, more flesh, more flesh. He was cutting his own thigh and putting flesh in the balance. And finally, he said, "Okay, I will give my life to save this pigeon." Then only that dev who came in the form of hunting bird came in front of Megharath Raja and said that we were only testing you, how compassionate you are. You are really a kind-hearted person who will do anything to save this little bird. So King Meghrath Raja, he was born as Santinath in his other life. And we all know Santinath Bhagwan is the Tirthankar number 16. And as I said, his temples are everywhere. I think I got a slide of one beautiful temple in Jamnagar. Again, it's a very big temple, huge temple. If you happen to go to Jamnagar, go and visit that temple. And this one, let me show this temple. Jamnagar temple is beautifully carved. Marble is painted there, and it has got some jewels studied on marble in many places, on torons, and many places you can see that. You can see different colors. It's a marvelous temple in the middle of the city of Jamnagar, Santinath temple. By the way, Jamnagar's got nearly about 30 temples there in that town. Some of them are very big, very popular, and really worth seeing. This is temple in Leicester, where, as I said, it's a Santinath Bhagwan's temple dedicated to Lord Santinath. Right. So let us learn about Ajit Santi. Ajit Santi Stava is quite different from the other 8 smaranas, in the sense that this particular smarana throws light on the social and cultural life of the people of that time. Most of the Jain stotras are composed in praise of one Tirthankar or all 24 Tirthankaras. You will see many smaranas, Uvasagaram Stotra, so it's about Parshnath Bhagwan. Bhaktamar, it's about Adinath Bhagwan. Kalyana Mandir, about Parshnath Bhagwan. So either you will see that these stavans are composed in praise of any one particular Tirthankar or all 24 Tirthankars. But this particular stavan, Ajita Santi, is in praise of 2 Tirthankars. And all these stavans are recited to eradicate fears and obtain merit. The Ajit Santi stav praises 2 of the Tirthankar and mentions fear too, but it has one more aspect, and in that it is full of references related to people, their behavior, their lifestyle, their habit, and social customs, and about some of their possessions. So it's a unique smaran, unique stavan. It's a stava, or in Prakrit language, it's called thav. Who wrote it? Who composed it? It said that poet Nandishan composed this stotra. Who was Nandishan again? Nandishan was a monk and acharya who once went on a pilgrimage to the Satrunjay mountain, Palitana, very famous Tirth. There he stood in the main temple where the main idol was that of Rishabdev Bhagwan. You know, when you stand in the main temple, you see Rishabdev Bhagwan there. That is the first Tirthankara. And Nandishan stood in meditation. And he also saw 2 smaller shrines. Be દેરી આપણે જોઈ, નાની shrine, not too small, about 7 to 8 feet high each, on either side of the main idol. Rishabdev Bhagwan was in the middle, Ajitnath Bhagwan on one side, Santinath Bhagwan on the other side. Nandishan, while praying Ajitnath Bhagwan, what happened? Because his back was showing to Santinath Bhagwan. So he composed in such a way, or the things what happened is that both these shrines came together like this. They were like this, opposite each other. But when he composed this stotra, they came too near to each other. So that is the story behind this stotra, behind this Ajita Santi Stava. Nandishan, there are quite a few meanings of the word Nandi. Nandi means joy. Nandi also means wealth. Nandi also means prosperity. And why I am mentioning this? Because these word Nandi comes in this Ajit Santi 2 or 3 times with different meanings. And as I said, there are 3 meanings of Nandi. Why it doesn't move quickly? Any reason it doesn't move? Nandishan's history, as I was saying, we do not find any trustworthy source. Book of Pratikraman mentions him as one of the disciples of Tirthankar Neminath. See, there are more than one Nandishan in our history. There was one Nandishan who was the disciple, Gandhara of Tirthankar Neminath. And Tirthankar Neminath is believed to have lived more than 3,000 years ago. So if we believe that this Nandishan has composed the stotra, then the stotra is more than 3,000 years old, or at least 3,000 years old. And if we accept that the stotra composed at that time, we must also accept that the use of musical instrument, cosmetics, and certain social customs are equally as old. But most of the historians believe that this Nandishan, the Gandhar of Neminath Bhagwan, he has not composed this Ajit Santi. But there are other Nandishan, and the one who is more famous, and we believe that he composed this stotra, was born during the time of Mahavira. He was one of the sons of King Stanik of Magadha. No record is found what he wrote. Nothing has been found. That makes things complicated. But anyway, people still believe that this Nandisena, the son of King Sranik, who became monk, that we know, he has composed this stotra. And why we believe this? Because of the style of the language, some of the phrases, and lots of other things. That is why we believe, or historians believe, that Mahavir Swami's disciple Nandisena has composed this sutra. And there are a lot of when we go along. See, in one of the verse number 31, it says, Vansa Sadda Tanti Tal. These are the musical instruments. Vans, Tanti, Tal. 3 types of musical instruments. I'll explain this in detail a little bit more. This may lead one to think that the Ajit Santista was composed much later than our Agam, Raipasanya Sutra, which is to have been composed after the time of Mahavira. So there are different opinions, but the one which has been widely accepted is that Mahavir Swami's disciple Nandisen Acharya composed this stotra. Right. The stotra has 40 verses. Ema 40 gatha છે. And each verse has got separate meter, chand. Well, there are not 40 meters in there, but there are some 23 different chands are used in composing this stotra. And chand, you know, is a particular composition. And you have to follow strict rules and regulations in composing a poem. The very strict rules and regulations, how you compose a poem. And there are lots of meters, lots of chand, different types of composition. Some 23 chand have been used here. 23 chand. So this in itself is a big thing, something worth studying, and it will take days and days and perhaps months and months to study this meter, how these things are composed. Right, I'll give you some name. The 1 meter is called Gaha meter, Gaha Chand. And verse number 1, 2, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. These have been composed in Gaha meter. Verse number 3 has been composed in Silogo or Sloka. Verse number 4 and 6 are composed in Magadhika. I'm not going to read all, but as you can see here, there are different meters. And that's how when you sing Ajit Santi, there are different ragas, different tunes, melodies. It changes. After you sing the first one, then you have to change your rag to suit Silogo because it's a different composition. So some 23 raga or meters have been used here. It shows one thing, how rich our literature was, and writing poetry and everything. It was a complete science how they used to compose poetry in a strict manner like this. And I'll show you how strict it is by giving one example later. Chand, the name. As I said, the very first gatha, the very first verse, and quite a few verses have been composed in Gaha, is the name of the meter, name of the chand. It's also called Arya Chand. Gaha Chand has got 4 parts. Right? I'll read this. Ajiyam jiya savvabhayam santim cha pasanta savvagaya pavam jaya gurum santi gunakare dovi jinavare panivayami. This is one verse, and it is composed in Gaha, and it can be divided into 4 parts. Ajiyam jiya savvabhayam santim cha pasanta savvagaya pavam. That was second part. Then third part is Jaya Gurum Santi Gunakare, and the fourth part is Dovi Jinavare Panivayami. Right? So in these 4 parts, the rule is that the first part should have 12 matras. Matra is a measurement of the letter or syllable. When I say a simple letter, like the first pad was Ajiyam Jiya Savvabhayam. Here, Ajiyam, I have separated out A. A is a small letter, has got 1 matra, 1 measure. G, again 1. Yam, it takes slightly longer to pronounce. So it has got 2 matras. So when you compose the poem, everything has been decided. You have to compose as per the rules. Not only the first part should have 12 matras, but the matras should go 1, 1 and 2, 1, 1, 2, and then it varies 2, 1, 2. So first part has got 12 matras, the second part of the verse has got 18 matras, third part got 12 matras, fourth has got 15 matras. So we can only imagine the power they had, these our acharyas, how they composed all this poetry. Bhaktamar Stotra is equally important, equally hard, difficult, you know. Kalyan Mandir is like that. And this has got many different meters. And you can see the ability of the writing poems. So I'm just giving you one small example only. But remember, there are 23 different types of compositions with different names, with different rules and regulations. Of course, we won't go into it. Right. Now, as I said, there are different things in Ajita Santi. So many different things have been mentioned. Different powers, different attainment, what Chakravartis have, how many musical instruments, what sort of cosmetics women were using. Yes, you'll be surprised what sort of cosmetics they were using. How many different types of dances were there? How many different types of raga, tune? Like when you learn Indian music, you do sa re ga ma pa da ni sa. So it was so systematic. These things have been explained indirectly in Ajita Santi. All these things have been explained. Right. I'll show you a few things. Verse number 5 mentions 8 divine achievements. Ashta Siddhi. Siddhi are achievements. Sometimes we ask from Gautam Swami when we do Chopada Pujan, we ask for Ashta Siddhi, Navanidhi, 8 types of achievements and 9 types of treasures. So these have been given in Ajita Santi. I'll just read this name. What are these 8 achievements? When we asked our Tirthankar, please grant this. Anima Siddhi, ability to become very small, very, very small, smaller than the head of a needle. Mahima Siddhi, ability to become very large, like a mountain. Garima Siddhi, ability to become very heavy. These are the powers, miraculous powers. Laghima Siddhi, ability to become very light like feather. Prapti, you can get things when you wish for. That is also an achievement. Prakamya Siddhi, get things as you wish, not just when you wish, as you wish. That is Prakamya Siddhi. And Isita Siddhi, you can control many things in your life. That is called Isita Siddhi. And Vasitva Siddhi means you can control other people. They will become friendly towards you. What I mean is you can control means, yeah. So these are the achievements given in Ajita Santi. All right. Here, again, let us see one more example. Verse number 11 and 12. What does it say? It says, Chakravarti have certain special tools, miraculous things. And what are they? When a person becomes Chakravarti, he conquers 6 continents. 6 continents. And what he achieves, this has been given. He achieves a circular disc with pointed edges. It moves like a circular wood saw, but moves in a horizontal direction and kills enemies on the battlefield. So Chakravarti has got this. Chakravarti gets canopy to be used when going in procession or to battlefield. Chhatra. Chakravarti always have a mechanical excavator, dand. It excavates things, makes the road clear when he marches. Number 4 is a ratna. When laid on the surface of water, floats and the army can walk over it. This is a power Chakravarti possesses. And they have best of the swords. They have got some sort of tool used to break rocks and a kakini and a luminous jewel which shines. Andharama pan dekhai. You can see at night. And Chakravarti always have one holy man with him to guide him. He always have the best quality horses, best quality elephants, a brave commander, Senapati, a man in charge of background support during the battle, someone who thinks about all the strategy in the war. You also have an architect with him who builds bridges as he goes along. And of course, he has a noble wife who guides him, who advises him. So these are the things. 14 Ratna કહેવાય છે આને. 14 jewels Chakravarti possesses. Now, what are the 9 treasures? We asked from Gautam Swami that, oh Gautam Swami, please grant us Ashtasiddhi and a Navanidhi, 9 treasures. These are 9 ones. Good planning and the establishment of towns and houses. That is what a nidhi is, a treasure, it's an ability. General knowledge of plowing, mathematics, music. That the one who possesses Navanidhi also possesses all these things. Art of clothing and dressmaking, having all 14 ratnas, which I mentioned above. Art of washing and dyeing clothes, knowledge of astrology and architecture, knowledge of metallurgy, knowledge of warfare and weaponry, and expertise in art, music, poetry, drama. Aaj che art, music, poetry, and drama, everything were well developed. A perfect science hata. Right. Musical. Now this will interest you really. Verse number 30 and 31 will mention this when we go and when Rajiv Bhai explains this. I'm only giving you just some hints. 4 types of musical instruments are mentioned. 4 types. Tat, Vitat, Sushir, and Ghana. See what was available at that time and how developed everything was. Tata. Tata means stringed instrument. Sitar, Veena, જેને આપણે string હોય ને એ બધા string instrument were called tata. And the strings were either 2 string, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 string instruments were there. Then vitata. Vitat is drum, dhol, tabla, mrudang, pranav, dardu. Those were called vitata. So everything was classified, musical instruments. And then sushir. Sushir is wind instrument. You blow air into it, like a flute, bansari, e bada, and lots of other things you can see. And ghan means you strike each other. This is also ghan. It happened to be here. And you know, જેને કલબલિયા કહેવાય છે એ બધા ઘન. So these were the musical instruments during that time. These are still being used. They were classified on 4 main headings, and they were different instruments were being made some 2000 years ago. Something about dancing postures. Now we learn about dancing, you know, nowadays all sorts of here. What did they know 2000 years ago? First, let us see what they were wearing. When a girl dances, 4 things make gentle noises. They were wearing, you know, તમને ખબર છે અત્યારે કથક ને એવું કરે ને તો પગમાં બાંધે, ખબર છે, ઘુંઘરું. So this is going on since 2000 years. 4 things make beautiful noises. Valai, bangles. Mekhla is a silver kandoro you tie around your waist. Some women still do it. In olden time, it's not very old time, I don't mean that. I've seen it, you know, heavy kandoro made out of solid silver. They used to wear on their waist. And some had jingling little bells on it. So this has been mentioned in Ajit Santi that some women were wearing valai, some were wearing mekhla, and some were wearing kalap. એમાં more string હોય, બહુ જાડુ હોય, અને કલાપ કહેવાય. And a nupur, as I said, janjar. So again, these have been mentioned in Ajit Santi. Not only this, many more things have been described within this. And how they used to dance, it's important. All I have mentioned here is 3 main headings. Then there is a sub-classification and sub-classification of sub-classification. You will be amazed when you read it, and we haven't got time to go into it. But the girls were dancing with one thing, how facial expression. And special facial expressions were taught 2000 years ago. Anger, peace, jealousy, laughter, you know, making request. Srungaras, that means God likes a boy. That type of expressions, they were called hav. And bhav, expression by using their fingers. if you see Bharatanatyam dance, they are specially taught bhava, how they use their fingers, when they tell the different stories. These are called mudras. They can say flute, they can say something else, they can say all sorts of things by showing their fingers. And expression with the use of eye, vibhrama, how they used to do vibhrama. And as I said, I'm only mentioning these things. And there are different types of how, different type of bhav, different type of vibram. Again, it shows how systematically developed this science was. Musical notes. આપણે અત્યારે શું કહે છે? સા રે ગ મ પ ધ ની. Isn't it? Those who learn Indian music, they know these things. In English માં પણ આ જાત 7 છે ને શું? સા રે ગ મ. સા is the sound of Saraj. Re, sound of Rushabh. Rushabh is not name of Bhagwan here. It's a different type of sound, different wavelength. Ga, Gandhar. Ma, Madhyam. Pa, Pancham. Dha, Dhaivat. And Ni, Nishad. And within this all, these are the 7 main sounds. When you learn harmonium or even piano or anything, you learn sa, re, ga, ma, like that. And you go in a reverse manner and everything. But there are 4 different type of shrutis within each. And there are different names. So again, we can see that how these swar musical notes were developed more than 2000 years ago. Probably, yes, I finished my things here, but let us see 1 or 2 more things here. Because today I'm not going to start Ajit Santi itself. No, we'll start next week. And then most of the gathas will be explained by Rajiv Bhai. What I am going to show you, and what I was telling you, that what Ajit Santi is, what you are going to learn in this next 2 weeks, and how beautiful it is. There is one more thing in Ajit Santi. It's a mantra power. And I'm going to say this one here. Gatha number 3, verse number 3. Savva dukha pasantinam, savva pava pasantinam, saya ajiya santinam, namo ajiya santinam. It has been composed in a meter called Silogo. That, of course, as I said, we won't go into the composition of how many matras in each. But this is like a mantra. And what are the 3 mantras here? Savva dukha pasantinam, namo ajiya santinam. Meaning શું છે? Savva dukha pasantinam. બધા દુઃખ ને શાંત કરે. The one who pacifies all our miseries. એવા કોણ? Namo ajiya santinam. I bow down to Ajitnath Bhagwan and Santinath Bhagwan. So itself is a mantra. Then Savva pava pasantinam. The one who can pacify or destroys all our sins. Savva pava pasantinam, namo ajiya santinam. Eva Ajitnath and Santinath ne I bow down. Saya ajiya santinam. always ajiya santinam. I may get victory and I may get peace. Yes, a different meaning given for ajiya, ajit and Santinath Bhagwan. Ajit, unconquerable. It's called ajit. And the Santinath, of course, Santi means peace. So here, different meaning. Saya ajiya santinam. Always I remain ajit. Always I remain calm, sant. Eva Bhagwan. Namo ajiya santinam. Eva Ajitnath and Santinath. I bow down to Ajitnath and Santinath Bhagwan. This is the one, and there is quite a few things which I will mention it next week, what I'm going to do. If there is any question or anything, I'll be happy to try to answer. As I said, there are so many things and things within things. Yeah. So anything more?
Would anyone like to ask any questions to Vinod Bhai on the explanation so far on Ajit Shanti? Vinod Bhai, I had a question. I mean, forgive me if I've not heard it, if you've explained it already. But why is it specifically that, Nandi Sen, the poet, even though he may be from Marish Swami's time, why has he done a poem on Ajitnath Bhagwan and Shantinath Bhagwan specifically, and not any of the other Tirthankars?
It's very difficult to say why he did that, but as I said before, when he went to Satrunjaya Parvat, he went towards the main shrine where Tirthankar Bhagwan is Adinath Bhagwan. The main temple is that of Adinath Bhagwan. And on two sides of the main temple, there were small shrines. One was that of Santinath Bhagwan, the other one was that of Ajitnath Bhagwan. And they were like this, Ajitnath Bhagwan looking this way, Santinath Bhagwan looking this way. And when you stand in the middle, all you can do is you can see and praise one Tirthankar while showing your back to the other Tirthankar, which is considered inauspicious and disrespectful. But when he composed this stotra, Ajit Shanti, both these shrines came together side by side. That is what has been written in our scriptures. And he has composed this Ajit Shanti Sutra, praising both Tirthankars.
We've got some more people wanting to ask questions. Sandeep Bhai, do you want to unmute?
Yeah, let me just ask, Vinod Bhai,
Yeah.
very good explanation. Thank you so much. આપણે કહ્યું કે આ બધા different છંદમાં આ composition છે. Now, when the poet is moving from one chand to another, does he mention in the actual Ajit Shanti the name of the chand itself?
Yes.
Yes, because I was thinking that those names come in. So, but તમે આપણે બોલ્યા ને, because મને Ajit Shanti આવડે છે થોડીક, so I was just wondering.
Actually, this is an unique prayer in the sense that when you sing, you are supposed to recite the name of the chand. As for example, let me give you one example here. Right. પછી તો આપણે છે next week કે following week પહેલા બેન આવવાના છે. She is going to sing as well. Right. Let me, I'll give you one example. Right. I was saying the first one. અજીયમ જીય સર્વ ભયમ સંતિંચ પસંત સર્વ ગય પાવમ જય ગુરુ સંતિ ગુણ કહે દોવી જીણ વરે પણી વયામી ગાહા એવી રીતે બોલવામાં આવે છે પ્રતિક્રમણમાં, ઇફ યુ રિમેમ્બર.
Ah, yes, yes.
એટલે the custom is that we have to speak the name of the composition. તમે આખું તમે જોશો ને તો બધા એક પછી એક નામ ઇમિડિયેટલી બોલવામાં આવે છે. અજીયસ ય સંતિ મહામુનિનો વિય સંતિ કરમ સયમ મમ નિવય કારણયમ ચ નમન શરણયમ આલિંગણયમ. આલિંગણયમ છે એ is the name of the chand composition. So that's how this thing has been preserved, all the names.
Thank you, Vinod bhai. Thank you. Bahut interesting હતું આ talk. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question we've got from Bakul Bhai. Bakul Bhai, do you want to unmute and ask?
Yes, hello, Jai Jinendra Vinod Bhai, Jai Jinendra Kajal.
Jindra.
My question is, okay, a particular prayer, are there any occasions when this prayer is recited, or are there any rules about when during the day it should be recited?
No, live.
ના એવું પર્ટિક્યુલર નથી, પણ પ્રતિક્રમણ હોય બધું એમાં we always recite અજીત શાંતિ. This has been introduced in the પ્રતિક્રમણ. સંવત્સરી પ્રતિક્રમણમાં સ્પેશિયલી અજીત શાંતિ તો રિસાઇટ કરવી જ પડે. That is what we have to do in સંવત્સરી પ્રતિક્રમણ.
And it's a beautiful composition if it's recited properly. Bahut beautiful છે.
It's beautiful. It's given in a Prakrit language, of course, but even in Prakrit language, this composition has been strictly followed. All composition, that is all chanda. And as I said, the main thing, if you want to do any research, then it shows the musical instruments, these, that, other things, you know, lots of things here.
Okay, thank you, Vinod bhai.
Thank you. Okay, so maybe I finished few minutes early, Kajal Ben.
Yes, is there any other further questions from anyone for Vinod Bhai?
Kajal, somebody in iPad, it says, has got a raised hand.
Oh, would you like to ask a question?
Yes, please.
Please go ahead.
Hi, Jai Jinendra, Vinod Bhai, Kajol.
Jai
Very
Jinendra.
interesting. Thank you so much. I wanted to ask, and now આપણા જૈનમાં ત્રણ શાંતિ આવી જાય છે. આ અજીત શાંતિ છે, મોટી શાંતિ છે, ને લઘુ શાંતિ છે. So is it comparable at all કે એની એમાં બધી જુદી જુદી રીતે? Why we've got three different shantis?
ના આમાં છે ને બેન તમારી થોડીક મિસઅન્ડરસ્ટેન્ડિંગ થાય છે. લઘુ શાંતિ અને મોટી શાંતિ એમાં મિનિંગ છે શાંતિ મીન્સ પીસ. બરાબર?
Okay, હા.
બૃહદ મોટી શાંતિ is of course a bigger version, so to speak. લઘુ શાંતિ is a smaller version. પણ એ શું છે? These are like peace મંત્ર, શાંતિનો મંત્ર છે. એમાં શાંતિની વાત કરીએ છીએ, પીસની વાત કરીએ છીએ. અને અજીત શાંતિમાં you are talking about શાંતિનાથ ભગવાન, 16th તીર્થંકર. એટલે there is no comparison. Of course, everything is beautiful. Laghu Shanti is beautiful, Brihat Shanti is beautiful, Ajit Shanti is beautiful. We can recite, we can remember, you know, બધું સરસ છે, meaning સરસ છે, બધું. પણ અજીત શાંતિ is completely different thing. It's about Ajitnath Bhagwan and Shantinath Bhagwan. And not only that, some verses in this one are in praise of Ajitnath, some in praise of Shantinath, then again some in praise of Ajitnath, Shantinath, Ajitnath, Shantinath. Yeah, so it's a combined name, Ajit Shanti. But here Shanti doesn't mean peace. Of course, Shantinath is giver of peace, but the meaning here is Shantinath Bhagwan, Ajitnath Bhagwan, Shantinath Bhagwan. That's how Shanti.
બરાબર. Okay, now I understand. Okay, it's completely different. ઓલી બે શાંતિ છે, it is for peace, ને આ શાંતિનાથ ભગવાન ને અજીતનાથ ભગવાન ઉપર જ છે.
એટલા માટે અજીત શાંતિ કહીએ છીએ.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sure everyone has learned so much more about Ajit Shanti today. I definitely have. Thank you, Vinod Bhai, for explaining everything so well and allowing us to learn a lot more about Ajit Shanti. Thank you to everybody who has joined us today. We had a lot of families joining over Zoom, over YouTube as well. And I'd like to just remind those who joined in a little bit later that we had a few notices to start with. We are celebrating Puja Acharya Shri Channaji Maharaj's 85th birthday. There is a Zoom celebration on the 26th of January. Please do join in. And we will also be having, at the beginning of our adult class next week, a short celebration of Taima's birthday. Another notice we had was the memorial service of Nilesh Bhai Doshi, who was our Virayat and SCVP's trustee. It's if whoever would like to join in, please do so. This is taking place on Sunday, 31st of January at 2 p.m. We also have this coming weekend on a Sunday, a program on COVID-19. This is taking place from 1 James, and we've got 3 different experts who will be answering your questions on vaccinations, COVID-19, all in Gujarati. And last of all, there is a competition for children to participate for the forthcoming consensus that's relating to James. Please do encourage all your children to participate in it. They can enter by creating a card or any artifact, and the deadline for submission is Monday, 22nd of February. And they can email in the photos. So thank you everyone for joining us, and have a lovely week. Jai Jinendra.
Reading the prayer.
Can we have Manglik, please?
Mang.
Yeah. Okay. Chattari Mangalam Arihanta Mangalam Siddha Mangalam Sahu Mangalam Kevali Panatto Dhammo Mangalam Chattari Loguttama Arihanta Loguttama Siddha Loguttama Sahu Loguttama Kevali Panatto Dhammo Loguttamo Chattari Saranam Pavajjami Arihante Saranam Pavajjami Siddhe Saranam Pavajjami Sahu Saranam Pavajjami Kevali Panattam Dhammam Saranam Pavajjami. Jai Jinendra, everyone.
Jinendra, thank you.
Thank you, Badrina Jai Jinendra.